Oh, it's a web.archive.com. Evidently, this page no longer exists. It was at a page entitled Whiskey Tango, Texas. And it's entitled The Pyramids of the Grand Canyon, Its Off-Limit Areas, and Egyptian Relics. In a restricted area of the Grand Canyon, there are pyramids and caves full of hieroglyphics and Egyptian relics. Many people do not know about them, as this information has been suppressed by the federal government for about a century. Over this area is restricted airspace. The area surrounding this pyramid and cave on the ground is illegal to navigate, and all official reports about this from the Smithsonian and elsewhere have been censored, modified, nullified, or retracted. This still did not stop people from attempting to visit this part of the canyon. Many have been arrested, and some have died attempting to climb to these sacred sites over the years. It has gotten to the point where the government feels it must have armed FBI agents, God bless them, guarding inside the entrance to the cave that's now known as Kinkaid's Cave. Kinkaid's Cave was named after G.E. Kinkaid, who was the first to enter. After retiring from the Marines, Kinkaid worked for S.A. Jordan as an archaeologist. S.A. Jordan was sent to the Grand Canyon by the Smithsonian Institute to investigate information reported by John Wesley Powell. The tunnel is presently on a cliff wall 400 feet above the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. Archaeologists estimate the man-made cavern is around 3,000 years old. The cavern is over 500 feet long and has several cross-tunnels to large chambers. This was the lowest level and the last Egyptian tunnel city that was built in the Grand Canyon. Since the time that it was constructed, archaeologists estimate the Colorado River has eroded another 300 feet. So it's 400 feet originally. So originally 100 feet above the river. There were many Egyptian relics that were discovered in Kinkaid's Cave, one of which was a pure gold artifact for the Egyptian king named Kian. The relic is holding lotus flowers in both hands. This is native to Egypt. This was found in the first cross-tunnel of the cave, which was in the exact same location as the shrines in the valley of the king's tunnel cities, before the kings of ancient Egypt began to build pyramids and above-ground cities. It was found that Kian was a descendant of King Zapnath in Egypt. He also may have been Joseph from the Bible. This Egyptian golden tablet was also discovered in the depths of this tunnel city, and it served as a history book, including names that began with King Zapnath coming to Aztlan, and information about his descendant King Kian coming to the Grand Canyon. These pure gold artifacts from Kinkaid's Cave and these Egyptian urns from Powell's Cave pictured above. I missed that picture. There, right there. There's the cave. That doesn't look like 400 meters, though. Maybe the river was high. Let's check it out. So there's the cave right there. I don't know. Scale is hard. That may be 400 meters. Yeah, that may be 400 meters. So about 1/4. It was maybe here, or about here the river level was in days of old. Kinkaid's Cave was named after G.E. Kinkaid, who was the first to enter. And I already read that. These pure gold artifacts from Kinkaid's Cave. Read that too. Where did the rest of them go? At least some of them were obviously photographed and documented, but who knows what wasn't? There's a reason why other relics that have been found here are not on display. The first American explorer archaeologist that searched the Grand Canyon was John Wesley Powell, who partnered with a native, Jacob Vernon Hamblin, both pictured here. Who served in place of his late partner for the expedition. Powell worked as an explorer/archaeologist for the U.S. Department of the Interior and was the director of the Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian. In 1869, Powell traveled down the Green River to explore the Grand Canyon and was the first person to report any archaeological information to the U.S. government about the natives that currently inhabited the Grand Canyon and their history. John Wesley Powell discovered what is now called Powell's Cave. Cave entrance pictured above. Well, here's Powell's Cave. Ooh. It looks like a little bit inside, though. The following is a quote taken directly out of a book published by Powell. In this canyon, great numbers of man-made caves are hollowed out. Great numbers. I first walked down a gorge to the left of a cliff and climbed to the bench of the cliff. There was a trail on the cliff bench that was deeply worn into the rock formation. Where the trail crossed some gulches, steps had been cut. I could see no evidence that the trail had been traveled in a long time. I returned to our camp about 3:00 p.m., and the men had found more Egyptian hieroglyphics on cliff walls near the cave. We explored the cave and found this shrine and other artifacts. That evening I sent a team member to notify the Smithsonian Institute of our discovery. We continued to survey the canyon and discovered more Egyptian tunnels. I estimate in my report upwards of 50,000 Egyptians may have inhabited the Grand Canyon at one time. The shrine that Powell and his team found in Powell's Cave. This was identified as a shrine for Setaprine, sometimes spelled Smenkara, Seti. King Seti was King Akhenaten's son that began his rule at Saqqara in 1336 before Christ. But it only lasted 10 years. That's when he died on his last trip to Saqqara, Egypt. These are the hieroglyphics that Powell's team found. This is a diagram for the Egyptian writing system when the ancient Egyptians came to the Grand Canyon. It was a school tablet used for teaching Egyptian children to read and write. There are even crypts, i.e. sarcophagi, discovered. One of the crypts was opened to see if there were mummies in them before they were sent to the Smithsonian to be put into storage, and from which they have disappeared. They also discovered this rock-cut vault with statues. Did you know that the monuments in the Grand Canyon are named after Egyptian pharaohs? This famous canyon in Arizona is actually an ancient array of pyramids. The sites even align with the same stars that the pyramids of Giza align with, the constellations of Orion and the Pleiades.